After 20 years of voluntary service, I am now being told that I misbehaved with politicians. Are politicians ruling the police in our country? I don't deserve this. Where is the justice in our country? That's the impassioned plea of a traffic warden in Mumbai who was sacked. Her only fault that she dared to stop a Congress MP. She is now, after headlines today put this story out, been reinstated, but there is no apology. Shouldn't Nilesh Rane come out and apologize to Anita Lobo? Anita Lobo is joining us on this broadcast. She's a permanent fixture in Bandra in Mumbai, and for the last 20 years she's been doing voluntary service. Joining us also on this program is Shaina NC. She comes from the area herself. We've got Alec Padamsi joining us. YP Singh, cop and activist, joins us on this program. Nawab Malik representing the NCP. And with me in the studio is Tehseen Poonawalla representing the Congress party. I want to go across first to Anita Lobo because Nilesh Rane and the Congress party say that you were aggressive, that you were rude, and therefore the Congress MP got agitated because you were being rude and aggressive. How do you respond to what Nilesh Rane has been saying, Ms. Lobo? अनीता लोबो, क्या हुआ? नीलेश राणे कहते हैं कि आप अग्रेसिव थे, आपने बदतमीजी से बात की, क्या हुआ कि जिस वजह से आपकी नीलेश राणे से झड़प हो गई?
I was not aggressive. I only told him to stop because the traffic was going. So he stood at the side and the bodyguards got down and told me, why are you stopping my boss? So I told him, please stand aside. For that they got down and came on to me and saying, and said, my boss is there. So he said, let him go. So I told him, follow the rules of the traffic rules.
All you did was actually to ask Nilesh Rane to follow the rule, and his cohorts didn't like that, which is why you were first suspended from service. This after having been doing this job for the last 20 years. Tehseen Poonawalla, what does the Congress party have to say? The fact is, here is someone who's doing voluntary service and gets thrown out of her job just because she told an MP to behave himself and not to break the rules.
Rahul, first of all, the Congress is one party that does not allow for its members to be rude to bureaucrats or to citizens. The Congress, if there's any party, political party in this country that's conscious, it's the Congress. So it's not a Congress issue. This is an issue of politicians in general. And yes, I would be lying if I said political standards in India and in Maharashtra in particular have not fallen. Having said that, Ms. Lobo herself answers a question. And if I have a house in Bandra, this particular nursery where the MP goes, you cannot take the vehicle inside the nursery. So though the MP's version is the vehicle was parked on the side and he was leaving. Now she herself admits that when the MP is leaving, the vehicles are leaving, why are you then stopping it on the road and creating a traffic jam? He was and she agrees, he was leaving. So why are you trying to unnecessarily be aggressive? While that may be, did the MP or his bodyguards mishandle her, mistreat her? They followed the process of law. They felt they were being discriminated against. They felt this woman was unnecessarily rude, which is a complaint a number of parents who send their wards to that nursery have against this woman. He followed the process of the law. He went to the cops. The cops have investigated the matter, and I think let the law take its own course. So I don't think that the MP has done anything which has been derogatory. He's followed the process of law. On the contrary, it is this lady who carries the baton around and carries the stick around. She's been known to hit people's cars. She's been known to be aggressive in her demeanor, and there are a number of parents who complain. I think we also.
No, you're leveling some very serious charges against Anita Lobo, and she must
it is her word. It is her word.
Anita, yeah. Tehseen Poonawalla says that you have a reputation in that area of being aggressive, that you take your baton and smash it on people's cars, and several parents have complained about you. So it's not just what Nilesh Rane feels, he believes it is also the view of others in that area. Ms. Lobo.
I smashed many people's cars? No, sorry.
He's saying that you are aggressive and that you go beyond what you're supposed to do, and Nilesh Rane was only following what the law entitles him to do, he went and complained against you, and the police then found you guilty, and that's why you were sacked. That's what Tehseen is saying.
Nilesh Rane will tell a lot of lies.
You know, it is this attitude. My word versus somebody else's word, and my word is absolute, the gospel truth, and other people are lying. I think we need to change this attitude. Yes, we are in an atmosphere where we are running down our politicians, and I understand that atmosphere in this country to that extent is vitiated. I do also agree, and I can see that political standards in our country, not just in one party, but across political parties,
this is about a specific case.
But
this is about a specific case, and I'm discussing the specifics. I want to bring in China NC, because Tehseen is saying that this woman has a bad reputation, that she actually goes and smashes people's cars, and therefore it's a common complaint. China.
That's his opinion. I can give you hundreds of other people who have watched Anita Lobo work for the past 20 years selflessly and who has a great reputation. I have fought elections from that area. I know of Anita Lobo. I have met her. I have seen the way she handles traffic. What wrong was she doing? You think that you can just give a certain kind of imaginative opinion on behalf of few parents? I don't think that is sufficient. If she was wrong, then after she was suspended, why has she been reinstated? That itself shows you that she's done no wrong. And this is not about public pressure, Rahul. This is about a woman cop who has been doing her job for 20 years. Just if she gets into an argument for the right doing of her job with a politician, is she going to be just succumb to this kind of humiliation, this kind of disrespect, and then you try to reinstate her and re-give her that respect? Is that correct? I think that's the biggest
in a democracy,
question.
In a democracy, Rahul, and China will agree with me, it is numbers that count, which is why China never wins an election. Having said that, there have been a number of parents who have complained against. There have been a number of parents who have complained against this warden. China, I never interrupted you. Please do not interrupt me. There have been a number of parents who have complained. You can dismiss it as a few numbers. But the fact of the pudding is China. The fact of the pudding is China. There is one version versus another version. Let the law take its own course. Why are we saying somebody is right over somebody?
The point is the law has taken its own course.
Do you believe, Tehseen, that Nilesh Rane should apologize to Anita Lobo?
It is not about personalities.
It is about personalities.
It is not about personalities.
If you had done this, nobody would have bothered, because it's a Congress MP, because he's Narayan Rane's son. That's why the poor woman gets thrown out of her job.
There is another way of looking at it.
Absolutely, and humiliated both.
China, if I may answer that question. It is another way of looking at it.
No, yes. I don't think that question is only for you. This debate is about multiple opinions, and please accept other people's opinion as well.
Just as
this is about a politician who has used his power
just
to
as
get somebody dismissed from a job.
This is not about numbers, this is about the law.
Of course, this is the law. And Mr. Rane, as so far as the law is concerned, followed the law. Did he mishandle the woman? No. Was he rude, aggressive? No. What he did was he called up the control room. The police then came, they made inquiries, and the law, and within that inquiry, whether they found out guilty or not guilty, that is for the law to decide.
You're saying that it's the cops who are guilty, not Nilesh Rane, because Nilesh Rane did what he's entitled to. He complained to the police. So if Anita Lobo got thrown out of her job, it's the cops who are to blame. What do you make of the fact that because this poor woman is trying to do her job, a Congress MP, a brat I'd call him, gets agitated and wants her thrown off? This is misuse of the position that he holds, Mr. YP Singh.
Yes, I think you are absolutely right. It is the case of an arrogant son of an arrogant father. Mr. Narayan Rane himself has been misusing his position as a minister. He occupies a full lane at Bandra West near the Union Park. He causes a lot of discomfort to the residents around. There are a host of cars which are parked in a narrow lane where there are other people also wanting to have their car. Living in that disposition, when his son saw that he has been stopped by a lady who was trying to do her duty, he perhaps turned angry. Now the question of cops. Now the problem here in Mumbai is that the senior cops are desperate for good postings, and they touch the feet of politicians so that they sustain with their lucrative charge. At the same time, when it comes to the insult of their subordinates by the hands of politicians, though they may be wanting to help them, but because of their selfish considerations to sustain their lucrative posting, that they sacrifice the honor of the cops at the altar of their own personal greed and expediency. This is what exactly happened in the Suryavanshi case, where he spoke abusive words of giving words mother and father abuses. And when it came to filing an FIR for that incident, which happened at the Sea Link, they turned a back feet. Nobody went to the police station till later when he was hammered. Similarly, now here also, it is a case where the person in uniform was insulted. The senior officers, they towed the feet of the recommendations of the politicians rather than going by the feelings of expediency.
Oh, absolutely.
So it is a case of complete surrender of their authority before the politicians.
It almost makes it seem, Tehseen, as if nobody cares about the law in Mumbai, that our netas are above the law. You know, they are masquerading as netas, but essentially they're all goons who believe that their writ will run, and no matter who says what, which cop does what, whether it's Suryavanshi or Anita Lobo, you can fix them.
I'll tell you where you're wrong, Rahul. The fact is that the Congress, that Maharashtra is run by a Congress government, and Nilesh Rane is a Congress MP. Yet it was the Congress government that reinstated this woman. So in the first place, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra.
No, first you humiliate and insult someone, then instead of saying sorry, you say she's been reinstated. That's not enough.
Let me finish. So far as the law is concerned, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra is known for his integrity, for being an upright man, and he will do what is correct. What Ms. Lobo is saying...
No, why was she sacked in the first place? I'm sorry.
Well, Ms. Lobo, her own statement on your show says that Nilesh Rane was going. She then stopped him. If the lane was so narrow, why was she creating a traffic jam? Mr. YP Singh says that Narayan Rane is occupying an entire lane. Mr. YP Singh is known to go to court with his wife. Somebody I look up to, I admire both of them. Go to court.
No, why does it have anything to do with go to court?
The police is biased.
Nawab Malik has his hand up.
We will do that.
Nawab
This is a question of misuse of power.
Defense is this?
No, this is no defense. Nawab Malik has his hand up. Do you believe, sir, that a reinstatement is enough? First you sack a woman after she's done her job, and then you say she's been reinstated, so look at how great our government is, look at how fabulous the Chief Minister is?
No, say, listen Rahul, we are discussing Anita Lobo is a cop, she is not a cop.
No, we know that.
She is not on a service of police department. She is doing social work. She is, listen, she is assisting. She doesn't have any power to execute any law. Where she is doing her duty, who has allotted the duty, there is nothing like she herself become a police, she herself assisting the traffic. And some of areas she is going beyond the limits. If a complaint has been made regarding her,
I find this very shocking what you're saying, Mr. Nawab Malik, because instead of saying thank you to Anita Lobo for her selfless service, instead of saying thank you to her, you're disparaging the work that she does. We need more volunteers of the sort that Anita Lobo represents.
Many, say many.
Under Police Act, she's a cop when she's doing the
Rahul, myself also I have done RSP, road safety. Road safety patrol I have given 5 years as a schoolboy. We were helping the traffic police. Here she have to help. She doesn't have any power to execute the laws. So if anything is going wrong, the complaint have to be made. If Nilesh Rane made a complaint, he is also a citizen of India, citizen of Mumbai. We have right to complain against anybody as the common man. If she has done anything wrong, a complaint has been made. A social worker have a limit to perform.
Okay, let me bring in Alec Padamsee. Both the politicians are saying that social workers have a limit, and Anita Lobo crossed that limit. Nilesh Rane, as a citizen, exercised his right to complain to the police. Mr. Padamsee.
No, that's true. That's true, Rahul. He has every right to complain to the police. But the police must act as if he is a private citizen and not an MP. They must act in the interest of both sides. So if Miss Lobo had done her duty as she was instructed to do, and Mr. Rane found that the duty was exceeding, then there should be an inquiry held and both parties should be represented. That is the law of the land. The law of the land is not appearing on TV and start shouting and screaming like hooligans. I think now what's happened to TV debate is everybody's just shouting their heads off. I've switched off most of the talk shows, let me tell you. It's become disgusting. Each person should have a chance to defend themselves. Each person should have a chance to make the accusation and discuss it just as you do in a court of law. And there should be, you Rahul, as the sort of compere of the show, should be saying one person at a time, make your point of view, and then we'll decide at the end of the show what the
Do you believe, Mr. Padamsee,
audience thinks.
that reinstating Anita Lobo is enough? Do you think that the humiliation doesn't matter now that she's been reinstated? Nilesh Rane needn't apologize to her?
Yeah, no, I do agree that if she's been reinstated, I agree for once with the China NC that if she's been reinstated, it's obvious that the police thought that a miscarriage of justice had occurred and therefore they've reinstated her. Whether Narayan Rane should apologize to her, we can decide that if he, let's say, twisted the arms of the cops to have her thrown out of her job, yes, then he should apologize. If he didn't, then the cops should apologize. The top cop who removed her from office should apologize.
No, but Mr. YP Singh, the fact is not as simple as that. It's not black and white. The fact is, Anita Lobo was sacked in the first place because Nilesh Rane was involved. If any other person had complained, Anita Lobo wouldn't have been sacked. There is this cohabitation between the cops.
How do you know?
It is obvious, Mr. Padamsee. Mr. Padamsee, I'm surprised with the line that you're taking.
Obvious.
It is most obvious that Anita Lobo was fired because of the fact that the complainant was Nilesh Rane. If somebody else had complained, the cops would have bothered.
Who do you hold responsible? Who do you hold responsible? Is it Narayan Rane?
I hold both equally responsible. Both are equally responsible. I want to listen to what YP Singh has to say.
I want to say something.
Yeah, so the cop who removed her from office should appear on your show. Should appear on your show.
Now, let me speak.
Yes, Mr. YP Singh.
The person who really the police is going to side would be the rich and the powerful. At the same time, in that particular area, police have been allowing illegal parkings all around societies and all. They have built up open gates blocking all the roads and all. The police has a very big nexus with the traffic offenders there. So when it comes to lodging a complaint by a person who's benefiting the cops would side with them and not with the person who's trying to invoke her moral imperative and to ensure the rule of law would be followed. I think had it been any other person complaining against this lady, police wouldn't have assigned even an iota of cognizance.
Never.
But here, since there was a formidable political entity with a lot of background of his political power, police went all out to please that politician and sacrificed the ethics completely.
China NC, Mr. Padamsee sitting next to you says there's no guarantee and there's no proof of the fact that Anita Lobo was fired because the complainant was Narayan Rane. He says, how do you know that?
Rahul, I just want to state.
No, I know. I'm saying one thing more. 1 minute, China. I'm saying one thing more, Rahul. I'm saying that there are three parties involved. One is Narayan Rane, one is Miss Lobo, and the other is the top cop who decided to sack Miss Lobo. Now, where is he? Why isn't he on this program?
Okay, now Rahul, may I just get to the point? I think you need to get into the credentials of this debate and to find out about the integrity of Anita Lobo. Now, considering, say, as Tehseen says, few parents were unhappy with the way they functioned. If they complained, the police obviously didn't take cognizance of it. A Narayan Rane's son complaining, immediately the police gets into action mode. It is only because of the public outcry and the media follow-up in Anita Lobo's case, because of her integrity and service, that she has been reinstated. Otherwise, you humiliate someone, you dismiss the person from their job, and then you reinstate them. Is that not a free and fair practice? If it is only because of public pressure and the media support she has got. So I think before people just flying these false allegations one against the other, we need to find out the credentials of the case which are apparent and in front of you, because Mumbai has been covering this case for over a month now.
Anita Lobo, do you think reinstatement is enough now that you've been given your job back? Is that enough? Or do you think Nilesh Rane should apologize those who sacked you in the first place? Clearly this is a case of miscarriage of justice. Should they come and say sorry to you, Anita?
I want Nilesh Rane to follow the rules and apologize. Just because he's a minister's son, he can't do what he wants.
And
rules
it has to be a
everybody.
precedent for others.
That is true. If he does that, it's a precedent,
and
it's a good precedent.
And I tell you, if he comes out and apologizes, people will respect him more.
No, but there's no hope of that happening, because he believes he's done no wrong. He believes this debate shouldn't be taking place in the first place. when our correspondents tried to speak to him. Anita, do you think you were sacked because this was Nilesh Rane? Because some of our panelists have said that the complainant could have been anyone. The police acted on its own. It had nothing to do with the fact that the person that you tried to stop was Nilesh Rane.
I beg your pardon?
Do you think that you got sacked because the person you tried to stop was Nilesh Rane? If it had been anyone else, do you think the police would have still acted against you?
No, it is Nilesh Rane.
Mr. Nawab Malik, is it too much to expect this young Congress MP to apologize? Shouldn't he have the courtesy and the decency to say, I'm sorry, you shouldn't have been humiliated and harassed in this fashion?
Say, Rahul, Rahul, you listen, as a MP or a citizen have right to complain. Mr. Rane has complained and the action was taken by the cops, the police department. Absolutely. He doesn't execute any power. He have right to complain. He complained the issue and action was taken by the police. And police had to reply. That was, they have to justification whether it right or wrong.
No, so shouldn't the police apologize then, Taisi? The police officer who's responsible. I'm sorry, it's not that simple. It isn't as if the cops are acting on their own. The cops are acting because there's Nilesh Rane who's complaining. There is that direct correlation, Taisi.
Rahul, I never defend the police, especially Maharashtra police.
Anybody have right to complain.
Defending. But in this particular case, the police also did not take action against Ms. Lobo. They heard Mr. Rane's complaint out as a citizen of India. And you must understand one thing, as an MP, he wields no power to suspend a police officer or a traffic warden. He wields absolutely zero power. As a citizen of India, they heard his complaint out. They heard
why is her suspension being revoked? Why is her suspension being revoked?
They may have that is for the police to answer. They may have conducted an inquiry and now that the matter is
how
out,
very convenient Mr. White is saying.
Why are you blaming?
You know, the netas and police work in cahoots and suddenly the police have been left to fend for themselves. Netas will get away again.
Just one point. This is the same Mumbai where a police officer carries a hockey stick, goes about beating innocent citizens up. So the police also need to follow the line of the law just as social service activists need to.
I want to listen to YP Singh, please.
Here the thing is that the police have got assumed a prerogative where they punish the right doer and take action and protect the wrongdoer. So this is what exactly is the case here. Apologies don't matter because the senior cops have become so thick-skinned that you make them stand and tell them you apologize to 100 people. They will keep on apologizing.
Anita
Their words
Lobo,
would be replete with apologies. No. But those apologies will be not linked to the evil deeds. The evil deeds will go on. Here is the time. If the cop has misused his power and position, he should be sacked. We don't want any apology from people who are thick-skinned. We want thick-skinned people to be no longer there in the police. Those who have wrongly punished this woman, that person has to be sacked. Only then justice would be done. Apology doesn't matter at all.
I think you speak for every single person watching this broadcast that the cops who are responsible for unfairly suspending this girl, they must be held accountable.
Rahul, just one quick point. If Ms. Lobo thinks that she's been wrong, she still reserves the right to go to court. And she has that right which every citizen of India has, and she can go to court and get justice. Remember, this is the same Mumbai. I was one of the petitioners against this own government, against the illegal hoarding. And the court
you're right here. Say Anita Lobo.
Let her go to court if she believes
Anita Lobo, has this incident left you bitter? Do you intend to keep doing your job with the honesty and integrity that you've done so far? Or will you next time when you see a Congress MP or an MLA breaking the rules say, इनसे पंगा नहीं लेना, हमारे ऊपर ही बनाएगी end में? Will you continue doing the job the way you've done, or are you now scared?
I beg your pardon?
Are you scared because of what happened? Next time when you see Narayan Rane's son, Narayan Rane himself, or anybody else violating a rule or a norm, will you still have the courage to hold them accountable, or will you now this time be very careful so that you don't get into more trouble?
I will still continue the job.
You're not scared that you might get sacked?
Without fear. Without anything.
You don't think they'll come after you again? That you might get sacked once more?
I beg your pardon?
You are not scared that you might be suspended, be sacked once more, be thrown out of your job?
No, if I know I'm in the right, why should I get suspended?
I think that's the spirit. That is a spirit which needs to be saluted. Thank you very much, Anita Lobo, for having the courage of your convictions to stand up for what you believe is right. I think it is people like you who really show a mirror to Nilesh Rane and others like him, spoiled brats, who believe just because they are MPs, just because their fathers are powerful, they can do what they want and they can get away with it. Nilesh Rane, if you have any sense of decency and morality, you will say sorry to Anita Lobo. And what Mr. YP Singh is saying is important as well. Find the police officers who didn't have the spine to stand up to Mr. Rane and tell him that your order is incorrect. I will not follow it. Those nameless, faceless officers must not be allowed to get away. For the time being, Shine INC, Alec Padamsi, YP Singh, Tehseen Punewala, and Nawab Malik for joining us on the center stage face-off. Thank you very much.